Hello and welcome to our Halloween edition of From Impossible to Inevitable. My name is Megan Bauer. I am so grateful for you tuning in today and pushing play and for joining me on what I have to say in honor of Halloween. Now, one of the things I love about kids is their ability to fall so completely into a role that it's hard to pull them out of it. What I mean by this is that for Halloween, they dress up, they get to be a cat or a dog or a princess or a dinosaur or fairies. My girls are fairies this year. And they put on those cat ears, or they put on their wings, or they put on their dress or their dinosaur costume or whatever it is, and they transform. All of a sudden, they are a cat, and they respond in meows and hisses and purrs, and they demand their dinner be served to them on the floor where they can eat it up without using their hands. Or they put on a dinosaur costume and they're all of a sudden stomping around and roaring and gnashing their teeth. Or they put on a princess dress and their posture is so erect and they all of a sudden flip their hair and put their pinky up for drinking their milk or whatever it is. And they fall into these roles and they just own them. In those moments, they are a cat. They are a dinosaur. They are a princess. And that is who they are. And you must address them accordingly. I love this. And there is something we can glean from this, of course. So, although there's no amount of cat ears or eating on the floor or princess dresses that will turn my children into cats or princesses or dinosaurs, they are deliberate about their behaviors when they are dressed up accordingly. And we can be deliberate about our behaviors to be who we want to be. And in some cases, depending on who you want to be, maybe those people have a sort of uniform that you can put on and step into the role of that person. A lot of the things we want to be these days don't necessarily have a uniform. If you want to be a writer or an artist or a community service person, those roles don't necessarily have uniforms. You can wear whatever and be a writer. You could wear a robe and be a writer. You could wear your swimsuit all day and be a writer. However, there are some that have more of uniform types, chefs, and maybe athletes have specific shoes for the type of sport they do and things like that. Runners, particularly, running shoes and athletic wear that indicate athleticism. And if you want to be a person who that role also has a sort of uniform, then whenever you put on that uniform, you can adopt those behaviors of that person and begin to become that person. So we are what we repeatedly do, right? We do so much based on habit that when acting a certain way becomes habitual, you are just that person. I have a brother-in-law who is an a runner and his running journey is amazing. However, when I met him, he was not a runner. He is now a runner, and we can confidently say he is a runner, but that happened based off of continual, habitual decisions that he made to run on a daily or weekly basis that have compiled up to the undeniable fact that he is a runner. He didn't start out that way. None of us start out that way. You don't start out as a writer. You don't start out as an athlete. You don't start out as, I don't know, maybe you do start out as a writer or an artist or whatever. However, you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. You know, some people are like, oh, I've been writing forever and I've always wanted to be a writer and this is who I am. And it's been part of their identity since they were little, but maybe not for you. And that's okay, because you can choose the behaviors and actions of whoever you want to be to become that person. All you have to do is continually choose that path to become that person. My children cannot continually choose cat behavior to become a cat. However, you can continually choose the behavior of the type of person you want to become that person. So instead of waiting until the day that you are that famous writer or that famous athlete or that famous chef, you have to choose today, when it feels like play acting or play pretend, whatever, it's fine. We'll just continue. When it feels like you're just pretending, you have to choose that you are that person. And you have to, even if it feels like you're fooling yourself, go forward and make choices and perform actions that that kind of person would do. And I love this analogy. This one has stuck with me for as long as I can remember. I can't even remember where I heard it, but I heard it somewhere. It was probably in college. So the artist Michelangelo, who was an incredible sculptor and painter, among other things, he had said to someone, I don't know who, doesn't matter. He had said that when he sculpted, he wasn't actually doing anything. So, first of all, picture a huge marble block around me. You know, it's covering the top of my head and it's going all the way along the sides, so that when you look at me, I'm completely encased in a block of marble. All you see is a block of marble. And what Michelangelo said he did is that he didn't sculpt a person out of the block or from the block of marble. What he did was he removed the excess marble so that the figure underneath was revealed. So if you're looking at me and I've got a block of marble around me, what Michelangelo is saying is that he just removed the extra marble so that you could see me underneath. And that's what you're doing. When you strive to become that person who you want to be, that person is already inside of you. All you have to do is continually, habitually, day by day, remove the excess so that everyone else can see that person you are inside that you know is in there. If you know you're an artist, all you have to do is show that person, that version of you, over and over and over and over and over again until it's undeniable. My brother-in-law, who is a runner, he always had that ability in him. He was always a runner. However, in the beginning, he wouldn't have said he was a runner, and nobody else would have said he was a runner. But because of his day-by-day actions, it's so clear he's a runner. It's undeniable at this point. He has removed so much excess marble that you can see the runner underneath. Isn't that amazing? So, this Halloween, I want you to think about the person you want to be. Think about what that person would do, what that person would prioritize, what that person would spend their time on, how that person speaks to others, how that person dresses, what that person chooses to show to the world. And make a list of these things, these attributes, these actions, these habits, and start to implement them. If you want to be a writer, what does a writer do on a daily basis? Well, they probably prioritize writing. They probably prioritize getting their writing out there, working with publishers, or even just publishing on Instagram or on an email list or on a blog. And that's what they do. So those are easy action steps. So you begin by dedicating time every day to writing. And you dedicate time every day to getting it out there. If you want to be an athlete, then the things that you prioritize are health and fitness and spending time on your sport of choice. If you want to be a community service leader, then you spend your time finding opportunities to serve in your community and then being there, doing it, doing the thing. And I have a mentor who doesn't her version of herself, who she is trying to become, does not necessarily have a uniform. However, she once came across this pair of shoes that felt to her like the epitome of who she wanted to be. So on days where she felt like she was flagging or, really had to put in some extra effort to be that person, she puts those shoes on. She steps into it as if it was a uniform, and she behaves and becomes that version of herself because she's feeling it from her shoes. Her shoes make her feel like, her shoes make her feel like she is that person. So maybe it's a pair of shoes, maybe it's a lipstick, maybe it's whatever. You get to choose. Depending on who it is that you want to be, will impact what it is that signifies to you of you being that person. And maybe it's not a thing you wear, maybe it's something that you do. You get to choose. You get to decide what that is to you. Because for some, being a writer means sitting at their desk for 5 or 7, 8, 9 hours a day and writing. And for some, that means getting dressed, putting on a blazer, and professionally showing up to that writing. And they need to be fully put together in order to feel like they're a writer. And some people just need their robe and they can just sit down and write and feel like a writer. So it's an individual thing, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Take some time. Think about who it is you want to be, what they do, what they prioritize, how they act, how they dress, how they treat others, what their habits are, and start to implement those things in your life. And you will gradually, habitually become that person. And it will be undeniable to the rest of us when all that excess marble is removed and we can see who you really are in the best possible way. That's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Halloween for those who celebrate. This isn't my favorite holiday, but I embrace it because the kids love it. They really just love candy. And they love dressing up too, I guess. And they are thrilled to be fairies this year. Anyways, I hope you have a fantastic day filled with all the sparkly things. I send you my love. Goodbye for now.